We're here today because now we know one of the biggest things, the prosecution of Donald Trump, and it's being exposed. Hello, everybody. This is Tom with Tom's Talk Show, and because this is being even suppressed seemingly on Twitter or X, as it were, I'm sure it is not going to be pushed out very much on YouTube. It's probably going to be even typically. I definitely with the content in this channel, I get uh, seemingly many more views on Rumble than I do on YouTube, and that is basically because I try and speak what I know to be the truth. And we have some new truth, something that we've always known, right? That the legal cases and the attack and everything on Donald Trump is part of the kind of the big uh, cabal of the world, I guess, that is coming after him and will not stop because he's outside of the system, right? If you're in the system and part of the global cabal, then you're accepted and allowed to become president of the United States. If you are not, then every effort will be made to discredit you, to destroy you, to jail you, to do everything they can to keep him from becoming president, because that would break their hold on America, at least for 4 years until the next election, when they would again try to install uh, their their chosen candidate, as we saw in 2020. Right, that's exactly what we saw. Right, I mean, it would the Biden administration was basically installed into the government, not anything else. Basically, Obama's third term, and because it's all part of this global group of everything. As I mean, from I was watching this Eric Weinstein talk about um, how there is this group of people that are in the world, right? Parts of the UN, NATO, big leaders in the world, all the people with the money, Soros and BlackRock and things of the same like. They will uh, put their money and put their support behind candidates for president that they feel will meet their needs, not who we elect, not what we the people want, but I mean, if you ever notice, right? So many times, even since I mean the movie Reagan has come out, and I need to go see that. But since even like Reagan, I think was one that broke their system. Right? Somebody from outside, somebody who's not part of the whole uh, the whole Bohemian Grove, child sacrifice, kind of system. They had Reagan came in and just kind of messed things up, right? I think that was kind of the first one, and then the other ones are like, oh, they got a knee jerk come back, and then we hit to 2016, and people are tired of the Obamas. They're tired of people that hate America running America, and so the people actually pulled it off and elected Donald Trump as president. Well, the global cabal, the global coalition, can't stand that. So they did everything they could. They called it you know, Russian uh, election interference is what they called it, right? That's and they're on Russian election version interference version 2 now with this new DOJ thing going after this Russian television thing, putting some money into the United States. So they're not going to stop. I mean, they're going to continue with that. We've got everybody to halfway believe it before. Everybody on the far left automatically believes that, Trump is a Russian asset. So we're just going to expand on that and continue on that. The hard part is, what is any of it true? Right? I mean, reality is all countries interfere in all other countries' elections to their own benefit. Russia interferes with our elections. Probably China interferes with our elections. We interfere with China's elections. We interfere with Middle East elections. The Bidens have fully and completely, knowingly interfered with the government of Ukraine to benefit, Hunter, and the whole laptop and the money payout scandals and all of that. Right. That is something that is pretty much everyone knows to be true at this point. Not to mention the payouts and different things in China, all of that. I mean, if we want to talk about, you know, government, foreign governments, interfering in elections, you know, let's just state the obvious. Everywhere, all the time. Right? How much it actually changes what's in the election, I would think it's minimal, but if you want to have it be exploded and be put on one candidate, and then the more manipulation part is that there might be a 1% swing in votes because of Russian interference, but one side will scream at the other side that it's their fault, they're agents of Russia, and that will cause a larger interference. So it's the people screaming that there's interference that are actually causing the interference. This is very, to somebody who can think outside the box and everything, that's fairly obvious. Well, now, and I had a very hard time finding this, like you actually have to go to the Steven Crowder X feed here. That we know the Mug Club Undercover. I won't play the video here. I don't really like to play other people's videos. If there'll be a link in this description to this video, so please go and view it. So here's the information. Breaking: DOJ Chief of Public Affairs admits Trump indictments are potentially motivated perversion of justice. Reveals lawfare involved in making former president a convicted felon backfired on Democrats, which has happened, right? Anytime, they made more charges and then more fake convictions and all of that, Trump just got, stronger in polling because, why are we doing this? All you have to do is come out and say, Trump had documents at Mar-a-Lago. Okay, well, Biden had documents in his garage, no lock and key, nothing. He took documents and he was vice president, which does not have the declassification power. So, and you're going to prosecute one and not the other? That's a completely, we already know that that's a fake standard. That standard is not being applied equally, and you're obviously favoring one side wholly. Okay, here we go. So this reveals lawfare involved in making former president a convicted felon backfired on Democrats, claiming his former colleague Alvin Bragg, who he says in the video that he's known pretty well, worked with for 10 years, but is known for 15 years, that his case is nonsense, and alleges he was just stacking the charges, which we know, one, the details of the case, one bookkeeping error, which had gone out of beyond the statute of limitations. They converted somehow into over 30 charges because there were like 11 payments, and each time the payment went through. So when they wrote the check, it was bad. When the other side cashed the check, it was bad. It's ridiculous. If you look into it with an open mind, if you look into it without, this is just Trump's evil and Democrats are good. If you take your mind out of that, right? You just look at it as, okay, so what did they do? Okay, so it was a bookkeeping error and in this whole payoff thing. And then every time a check went somewhere and somebody signed a check or whatever, you like one check goes through, gets written and mailed and deposited. That's 3 charges for every one check, but the whole thing is only for one payment. So that equals 34 charges. Makes absolutely no sense. But that's how you know that it's all made up. So here we go. Alvin Bragg, was stacking charges and rearranging things just to make it fit a case. And that was what I'm saying. Like, why is it 34? It just should be one bookkeeping error, you know, $500 fine. Have a nice day. See you later. Right? That's what it should be. Right? He's saying this guy named Nicholas Bias, I don't know, something, says, I think the case is nonsense. It's a perversion of justice, the travesty of justice, a mockery of justice. The whole thing is disgusting. He says that's why Trump is surging in the polls. So here he is. We've got an undercover person from Mug Club Undercover going and talking to him. I guess there are more videos to come out. They're going to continue to release them. And I'm sure, and then, we saw that they're taking other charges from the Fannie Willis thing, and they're like, one of them, they're like trying to rearrange the charges to push more, things against him. I mean, that's where we go back to this Eric Weinstein's predictions in this video. I'll link this video as well. And this global association of all these high-powered rich people who basically run the world don't want Donald Trump there because he's outside of the system. He is not accepted. He has not passed their qualification tests. So he must be stopped at every step. So, right, what happens, right? So Trump wins the election in 2016, becomes president in 2016. Well, immediately we have the global cabal that's here, starts the Russia thing in coordination with the Clintons and their foundations and everything that they've got going at it. I'm sure the Obamas were also involved in pushing that forward. And then we have to impeach him for things that, he's some things that he said on the phone which he didn't say, or were 8 sentences apart. Unlike Biden, who said, he wants you to get rid of this thing. Well, I'm going to withhold money. And then boom, they get rid of the guy. That whole thing, the quid pro quo that Biden did, that he actually admitted straight while he was speaking about it, which is against law, right? That's a break of federal and, government policy. He can admit it on camera, but yet, Trump doesn't admit it, doesn't say anything about it, doesn't hint about it, but you can take 2 completely separate sentences in a phone conversation and suddenly say, oh, that's quid pro quo. Let's go after him. Right? It makes no sense. There's no balance. There's no, Lady Justice is supposed to be blind. That's why she wears a blindfold. That's why she has 2 scales that are even. It's supposed to be equal justice. Well, under the Democrats, there is no equal justice. Not for you, not for me. So after they do that, after the impeachments, and after he gets out of office, so they rig. I'm sure it's, you can say rigged or not. Somehow Biden was installed as president. You don't have proof of anything, but it just seems obvious that the global elite associations and stuff installed Biden. And now that it's come out, after now Trump then decides, well, this is ridiculous. He thinks they won, and so he's going to run for president again. Then, boom, all of the court cases. I think if he would have never decided to run for president again, right, that none of this would be here, right? That's how it's highly, highly politically motivated, right? That just because he said he's going to run and try and be president again, that now, they have to go after him with everything that they have with the DOJ. They have to attack all of his supporters. They got to throw everybody in jail, whoever supported him, whoever said anything for him, right? It just seemed it's very Marxist totalitarianism. I mean, this is not China, right? We're not China. We don't take people, This isn't the Tiananmen Square where, a guy has standing in front of a tank, right? Or, you know, the government just, takes tanks and runs people over because they disagree with you, right? This is the United States. We're supposed to be able to speak freely and say what we think. Could be wrong, could not be wrong. Say what you think. Create a conversation. Maybe if you say something and it's wrong and other people talk to you and you can have a conversation, right? And then suddenly you can change your mind and see the other side. Or you say what you think and you can convince other people that your side is correct. That's what the United States is, was kind of founded on, right? That we can have, each of us can have our individual ideas and express those individual ideas and be able to have conversations with each other. Not that those conversations would immediately have you put in jail because it's the wrong side of the conversation, according to one group. So now we've got Trump, we've got him, running for president, and then it comes up to, well, they not able to get him. They got him kind of convicted, but it's not working out right. He keeps going higher in the polls. So now we're going to have the early planned debate because everyone behind the scenes knew that Biden has a Parkinson's-driven dementia, which is what my father died of. And you can see it. I understand exactly what it is and what it looks like. So he is not going to make it. Right? He would not make it maybe, I'm thinking 6 months, maybe on the outside a year into next year, that we're going to see the report that Biden has passed. That's probably more fact than fiction at this point. So he is completely wiped out in the debate. Basically, Trump just had to stand there and let him just destroy himself. Right? Blah 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 blah. We finally beat Medicare. What does that have to do with anything? Nothing, because your brain is gone. So, which to me is a complete tragedy. I mean, that's the Jill Biden and the Democrat Party and everybody that's around Joe Biden needs to understand that he needs to be removed. He needs to be, quietly put away and taken away. But I think at this point, even that a lot of the core Democrats in there are afraid of Kamala and of her being president, right? She's going to, I think she's just going to be, they don't want her to be, she's easily manipulated, but they don't want her to get to a point where they're afraid that through the campaign that she's going to think so much of herself that she can actually be and run the presidency. No, she's only there to continue the installment of the puppet that Biden was. Right? That's the only reason. Right? Why do you think she's flip-flopping on everything? Because she doesn't have a position on it. She can only take her position from what the Democrat Party, led by the global cabal, is telling them to do. Right? So now we get past the debate, and well, that didn't go so well. So now we got to get rid of Biden and we got to install Kamala, right? And now, that's not going well, right? So then we have to have somebody who we've groomed. I don't know, who knows how many people, the DOJ, FBI, CIA have been grooming over the last year or 2 years, or even since 2016, when Trump won the election. How many people they've been grooming since then in order for them to allow, because it was definitely, as we see more information coming forward about the assassination attempt, it was allowed by the Secret Service and FBI and everybody else. This is a coup. This is like a reverse coup, right? They want to remain in power and stay in power. And the only way to do that is to, at this point, since all of the other efforts have not worked, the only way to do that at this point is to physically remove Donald Trump from running for president. And it's going to happen again. There will be, the more the polls go up, there will be another assassination attempt. I hope that Trump's team has gone, and at this point, I think I would just get my own security. I would pay for my own security and kind of leave the Secret Service to the outside, right? So we have some admission here. Half of things that we know, that we all suspected, things that we all thought, well, all of this criminal case things is all completely fake. It's all just to keep him off of the ballots and keep him, is he going to be able to run, be president, from jail and all of these things, so it's all things like this that come out just tell you that all of it is fake, all of it is a power grab. And, where do we go from here, right? It's almost, I mean, Trump being president will definitely help the country in so many ways. But the fear is that Trump can only run one more time, right? This next election. Who's after that, right? That's where we need to look. Right? If we get Trump in office, then we need to look for who's going to be after Trump, because they're going to, like a snake. Like if you see a snake, we have snakes here at my house. We've got a 7-foot red-tailed boa, and he, is getting pretty old. He's in his 25 or so years old. But if you know how snakes work, right? So if they're kind of slithering by and you're next to them, right? They'll probably just slither right on by you. But if you get in front of them and you back them into a corner, then they're going to raise their head and they're going to strike at you, right? Typically, snakes are not smart. They, they have some heat sensors and stuff to find where you are and try and strike at you. They can strike, whatever the length of their body is, they can strike that far away. They could, if a 7-foot snake, that snake, and you can be 8 feet away, it can almost get you. But as we push this global cabal, back into a corner from the United States, they're going to come out and they're going to start striking harder and harder. And we've seen that. That is exactly what has happened, right? Russia, Russia, Russia. Impeach, impeach, impeach. Criminal charges, criminal charges. Assassination attempt. Smear all of his people that were with him, right? Get all of them in jail. Right? It's continuing and continuing. So we need to be vigilant. We need to. It's very hard to find this video that Steven Crowder did out just searching the internet. It's being suppressed. So that's why I make videos like this, just to add to the message. Even though I don't get very many, views on many of my videos, it's fine, because it adds to the narrative, right? We need people to continue to add to the narrative. So, I mean, I watch, the other, like the Quartering. He has his tailgates for Trump, right? Where'd it go? Tailgates for Trump. Here we go. And I will absolutely promote this. It's free. You put your email address in there, and they're going to have different things. They're going to have party recipes. They're going to, I don't know if they're going to have a Twitter feed, different social media things to get people together, just to get your neighbors, registered to vote and get people out, for the vote. So I definitely support that. Jeremy the Quartering is a pretty good guy. I don't know him personally at all, but I've watched a lot of his content up until he's typically was fairly politically, mid of the road. But after all this stuff that's happened to Trump, he's definitely started to move over to the right a bit, just for Trump. I don't know. I don't think necessarily. I think he's still independent. I don't think necessarily he's now a staunch Republican, which I'm not. I mean, I'm registered Republican, but too many of them, like Lindsey Graham, who's just a garbage person. He went over to Ukraine when they thought Hillary was going to win and say, "Don't worry, we've got your back. We're going to create this whole war thing for them," right? That was Lindsey Graham, right? A supposed Republican, but it turns out he's just a basic rhino and part of the system. So we need to get these people out, vote these people out that are part of this cabal system. So anyway, Thanks for watching this. If you got all the way to this part in the end of the video, thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe to my channel, and get this, to get this information out there. Watch these videos and get them views so that they get, moved up into the feed, right? So, and what I always will say is, evil will flourish whenever men of good conscience stand by and do nothing. So, move your conscience, fight evil out there. All right. Thanks for watching. Take care.